Well, good morning. Let's see if this thing doesn't fall down on me here. Obviously, I didn't take it. Yeah, the freaking light. What the hell? Where can I put the damn light? Here we go. A little better. Yeah, yesterday I made a video and I stopped it on the laptop and it didn't save. Like, what the heck? It didn't even give me an option to save it. So, yeah, things are going pretty good. I bought a 55-inch Samsung TV for $300, brand new. It's not bad because I'm doing Swift now. I had some shin splint from running, and I like biking anyway. That's my main fitness exercise. It allows me to have a little bit of an easier time fitting in a workout. Obviously, I'm traveling an hour and a quarter one way, and I'm working 12 hours a day. So that's like 14 and a half hours of my time consumed for work. So it's kind of trickier to get the motivation to go to the gym. So having the bicycle is pretty cool. It's a pretty good option. It's light. It doesn't take up as much space. I got the mats on the floor because the sweat. But in the wintertime, I can open up the door and have the cold air come in. So, I can kind of help regulate the sweat. And in the summer, I'd want to be outside biking anyways. So, it's pretty good. $300 though for a 55-inch. And the performance, I plug it into my laptop with the HDMI. And my laptop's 4 years old and works pretty good. It has an HDMI port and seamlessly acts as a monitor to my laptop. Really good. Plus, I plug in the TV to my router and can watch the HBO app that I have. So it's pretty good for $300. It's pretty good, and the picture quality of the Samsung is it's outstanding. So I like it. So it makes the Zwift a lot more fun too, because I can see this big, huge screen. I just have the app on the laptop, and it via the HDMI port comes right onto the TV seamlessly. It doesn't lag or nothing. So that's pretty cool. And the TV has the PC mode, so game mode or all that stuff. So you can put apps on it, obviously, but you can't. It doesn't allow me to find the Zwift app to put directly on the television. But it's not too bad on the laptop. The NVIDIA, I've kind of switched over to the NVIDIA because they have their built-in software that allows you to stream. So I don't have to get a third-party app, which makes it seamless to the driver, which makes it easy. And it's easy with the hotkeys. At Alt F9, it'll record. You can stream. So it's pretty good. I don't play Tetris on it. It makes me kind of dizzy, the performance. But when it comes to like something like Zwift and the streaming apps and even like Facebook, it's pretty good. Even YouTube, which then I don't have to use my laptop. I can directly from the TV. So, I'm behaving myself when it comes to spending money, and $300 for that with the picture quality, and yeah, wouldn't say. I kind of did burn some money out on my bike I probably shouldn't have bought, because I found a way to protect the sweat from this bike. I mean, it fits me better, and so I probably shouldn't have bought that bike. But, so things have been going okay at work. Fall has come full tilt. It's definitely a lot colder. One thing that's annoying carrying mail in the fall is all the pebbles that get inside the shoe. It's just every other loop I'm walking, freaking pebble in a damn shoe, you know. Yep, pebbles in the shoe. Yeah. My string, I know all the routes. I'm getting the routes done in 8 hours. My string is yeah, the routes aren't short. People cry about, oh, my pivot was too big. It's your opinion. I don't make the splits on the route. The splits are for when they split the route. And that's the T6. You need to divide up the route according to the splits. I don't make the splits. And it's not as if I didn't have that piece. You know what I mean? It's just people, there's a fine line. Where a root is too big and it deserves to be cut, or a person is getting their root cut and it doesn't really need to be cut. Yeah, and then what you're doing is basically handing your work off to your coworker. I mean, I don't know. I know that I do my fair share of the work. So I obviously don't want to hear crap when I get back out the office about how, well, that person's piece was half the route. Well, I did that piece the day before. I had double mail for a third of the freaking route and papers. What the fuck? It's just as simple as just, we'll get done with our pivot and we'll help the person out. That's the problem with me personally. It's like I have thin skin and always being put into this position of argument. It's like me, I have to always focus. Don't argue. Just don't argue. But it's so hard when they're always trying to put me in a position of wanting to argue when I get back to the office every freaking day. You know what I mean? Try not to argue when they're always trying to make you argue. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's craziness. Yeah, but what can you do? Try not to get involved in the drama. I think the hydrogen water, I think it works. I do feel really good. I might not look it because I didn't take a shower. I'm lazy today. I'm gonna get on the bike. So, yeah. Topics of speed. I'm not saying we should be running our routes, but you should put in effort, honest effort, and then it makes it better. But some people just they take it personally when it's a heavy day. Perhaps it's because they can't handle it. It's emotional for them. But it's not emotional, it's business. Um, yeah, it's a, it's a tall order, professionalism, but it's important how you speak and what you say. Tell people you think they're weird. What's the purpose of that? We can all point fingers at who's weird and who's not, and what's weird. Probably shouldn't say it. And just because you're a supervisor, you gotta curb the ego, and that's what that is. That's ego, and how you speak to people, even if you don't mean it maliciously. It is what it is. But the topic of privatization, um, yeah, that's just something I was thinking of. You know, when they voted to cut the pension, obviously I've been saying that doesn't take a brain scientist. Things aren't going to get better for the employee. I mean, the last 15 years, has things gotten better? Or have they taken away? Pretty much across the board. I'm not just talking about like the post office per se. I mean, just across the board as a country. Um, it's not like they're adding benefits to employees. Um, obviously. So it's not really conspiracy theory about how the shareholder takes primacy. I think it is an obligation for publicly traded corporations to prioritize the shareholder. And you know, I've read some articles about, oh, it's about time they privatize the post office. I'm not trying to, it just, you know, you didn't think it through. Really. I mean, you know what I mean? Journalism. I'm not an expert, but think about that. Now all of a sudden, you're going to prioritize the shareholder. It's not going to make the service any better for the customer. And it definitely is not going to make anything better for the employee. And this was a highlighted issue when I saw Rand and DeVoy at the congressional hearing. That little clip there. And Rand talking about fixing the pension plan. In his disdain, in his tone, you know what I mean? It's like the disdain of like a worker who gets a pension as if they think it's welfare. But you pay into it every check that you work. So obviously it's not welfare. It's just, it's a level of incompetence to think it's welfare. It's not. You pay into the Social Security, you get it later. So in that perspective, the employee is investing some of their weekly paycheck. It's not free money, obviously. It's not even remotely free. So, yeah, the people, they think it's welfare money or something. It's just insane. It boggles the brain. But People get that way. The mentality is a lot of people don't have that benefit. And there's this F you for having something better than me, rather than I'm happy for you. You're in a good job with good benefits. I'm happy for you. Or F you because I don't have that. You know, it kind of splits into that binary, right? So you can really put a lot of things in the world in a binary position, right? I guess that's like dialectical thinking, and then gradually progressing, you know? It's that F you or that I'm happy for you. You know, you can choose to be happy for the person rather than finding different ways of being a sore loser about somebody who might have something good. Like, yeah, I'm not a full I'm not fully on board with the union because I don't really think the union really. I mean, I read a little bit, I guess, in a new plan, they want the workers to pay in 9%, 9 point something percent, and to sign that they're an at-will, an at-will employee. That's a union killer right there, right? Obviously. I mean, obviously, there are states that are at will. Um, so it's easier to get fired than you think. But if you're going to sign documentation saying that you're an at will, that's kind of saying that they, for whatever reason they want, they can shit can your ass. You're an at will employee. That makes it vulnerable. Um, so if you get fired, you lose all that you pay in. Then, and you're an at will, why would you want to pay in? Because they can get rid of you. I mean, that's just really insecure. I mean, I definitely, it's like you don't just want to work for security all your life, but at the same time, you do want to hedge your bets. So, yeah. Yeah, that's just, it's not going to get better being privatized. Obviously, the service isn't going to get better. And going back to the union, seniority provides some security of knowing that I can bid on a job and it's not going to be based on the supervisor. It's going to be based on your time. There's definitely cons to seniority, but that is one huge thing that has kept me working, knowing that it's not just going to that I'm not going to get screwed over on a bid on a route because I have a supervisor that just doesn't like me and doesn't think I'm fucking doing any work that's good enough because they just got personal problems and they can't handle the professionalism of the job. You know what I mean? So therefore, when they appraise your ability, they're not gonna give you a fair appraisal because they just don't fucking like you. So that's a problem in a lot of jobs. It's just you get some good workers who just aren't liked, and someone who might not be doing the volume or as much, but is liked. It's more maybe interpersonally smooth, and who's going to get the job over you. It's a problem in a lot of jobs. Is the assessment that they give is based on their feelings, even though they don't admit it. They won't admit it because they don't believe it. But yeah, they're biased based on their feelings about you. Um, They might not be calling you names and fucking doing that, but they don't fucking like you. And it comes out in a lot of different ways, how they kind of single you out. You know what I mean? It's funny. It's like, geez. But yeah, so therefore seniority is huge. It provides that security of knowing that that's the blind eye of like, justice is blind. Well, seniority is blind. It's based on your time being there. So you don't have to really be overly concerned with the supervisor that doesn't like you, because they got their personal problems with you. No. Which is good. And that's another element, is the pension plan. So privatization, and I've seen it on jobs at Walgreens. One supervisor who got changed to being a shift lead, because what Walgreens did was they restructured the titles. They got rid of supervisors and they changed the titles to shift leads. And with that came pay cuts. And they were offered a choice of a severance or take the pay cut in the shift lead. And with that came the matching to the pension plan. They changed that. They changed a F ton of crap. And that's what will definitely happen. And I don't think the union really can. They'll fight it, but I don't really think there's anything they can do about it. So, yeah, just imagine if the post office is having problems hiring people and keeping people. Yeah, try to kill off the pension plan. A lot of people are gonna leave, especially if they're gonna do something like a restructural plan of positioning, which is only gonna probably add more work to you. It's not gonna make life easier for you. And you already have people doing too much work, pretty much. That's a lot of the reason why there's shortcuts. Got a lot of forwards, and maybe you're getting mail from past residences who don't put in a change of address, but you got a worker who's needing to be really fast because they have the volume. And they're going to make mistakes, not match the warning card quite right, because their volume is maxed. And if they mess around, they're not going to get the job done. So really jam-packing the volume cuts down on the ability to be more methodical and getting the job done right. So you're going to have mistakes like, oh geez, I keep on getting mail from the past that addressee. What the hell's going on? Well, it's because the person's needing to be quick and the volume is to that point. And that brings out the point of like breaks. People then feel they don't have the time to take their breaks because of that. And it's only going to get worse if you privatize it. They're going to add more to you. So, yeah. And then kind of how Amazon does, having companies within their warehouse. They'll try to do that. It'll be next to impossible to make regular. I mean, it'll be hard. And it's thinking about the at-will agreement. That really, I mean, what can the union do for you if you've signed that you're an at-will employee? I mean, God. I mean, that's just, I don't know. the service to the customer is not going to get any better. So, privatization is not the answer. They talk about furloughs. If I lived in town, I probably would go in, but I don't live in town, and I'm not putting myself in a position of debt to go to work. They'll try to shame you into it. You work at the post office. You work for the people. Yeah, but it doesn't mean you work for free. Don't use that service to the people to try to get you to be like, well, now you got to work for free. No one should work for free no matter what. I don't care what your job is. Unless you're volunteering, but you can't compel people to volunteer. People got to pay the rent. They got to pay their bills. There's no guilt to be handed out because someone knows that they need to get paid for what their efforts are. I mean, so, yeah, that's just crazy. The way that we're shaped. People judge people who aren't working. You got to pay to live. Otherwise, you then don't have a job, and then what are you going to do? So, really, how much freedom do you really have? You basically have to ask permission to do what you want to do, unless you want to pay the consequences of being broke and being hungry. So there's a level of freedom that we have, but there's a level of non-freedom that we have. We're not as free as we think we are. So I'm going to Zift again later today. I'll post that video too. And thank you guys.